Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about top 10 foods that one should avoid if they want to live longer. First, sugar. Sugar has zero nutritive value and is very addictive in nature. It is often compared to drugs. What is sugar basically made up of? Sugar is made up of 50% glucose and 50% fructose. Glucose is responsible for raising blood sugar levels, causing a spike in insulin. So consuming sugar over a period of time leads to insulin resistance. Now the next is 50% fructose. Now fructose does not raise the blood sugar levels per se, but fructose gets metabolized by liver. And consuming fructose in large amounts over a period of time leads to non-fatty alcoholic liver diseases. There are major two food groups that gets metabolized by liver. One is alcohol and the other is fructose. Hence, overconsumption of these two food groups leads to liver diseases. Now, if you're somebody who does not have any metabolic problem, somebody whose weight is absolutely normal according to their height, somebody whose BMI is less than 25, then they can have sugar in moderation, around 10 to 20 grams. They can have sweets occasionally. Now, what about people who have metabolic problems like cardiovascular problems, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and so on? Consuming sugar for such people would be like alcohol for alcoholics. Even a little bit of sugar for such people would do more harm than good. So avoid sugar. Second, plant oils. Plant oils like corn oils, safflower, canola, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil. These all oil are high in omega-6. They are inflammatory in nature. They are processed with high heat, high pressure, and with a lot of chemicals. They cause inflammation in our body and a reason for oxidative stress. We know that cancer is one of the problems that comes because of oxidative stress. We should switch to better plant oils like extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil. These two oils are minimally processed. They don't have to go through so much of pressure to remove or extract oil. These are much more heart friendly than the above mentioned omega-6 inflammatory vegetable oils. Please avoid them. Third, margarine or partially hydrogenated vegetable oils. These are unsaturated oils which are heated over a period of time, turning them into unnatural saturated fats which are denser, which are more solid in nature. These are commonly used in bakery products because these are cheap and they increase shelf life. Now these kind of unnatural, synthetic type of trans fat cannot be digested well in our body. They are not enzymes. The enzymes in our body cannot digest these kind of unnatural fats. Switch to better natural saturated fats like grass-fed ghee, grass-fed butter. Fourth point, fried foods. Now I'm talking about fried foods which are available on the streets, which are available in the restaurants. These foods are fried in inflammatory oils at high temperatures, and these oils are reused many times, turning them into trans fat. Such kind of fats clog our arteries. They are responsible for autoimmune diseases, inflammatory diseases, cancer, obesity, dyslipidemia, and so on. Now, if you feel like having fried foods, try to make it at home. Take a small pan. Use a small quantity of good quality fats like extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil, or even ghee. Just fry some amount of food. You can eat home cooked fried foods, but please avoid fried foods available outside. Fifth point, modern wheat. The genetically modified wheat. In earlier times, there used to be only one or two types of wheat, but nowadays there are more than 10,000 varieties of wheat. Manufacturers are making wheat which are heat resistant, which are resistant to harsh climate, resistant to insects, rodents. They are not concerned about human health. They are only concerned about high yield per acre. Now because of this, it is causing gluten intolerance, gluten sensitive, celiac diseases. Now these kind of diseases are very common in nowadays. This is basically inflammation of gut lining which is caused by eating modern wheat. They are responsible for a lot of metabolic problems. So please avoid genetically modified wheat. Switch to healthier options like millets, rice or quinoa. The other is artificial sweeteners. Now I'm talking about the one which are man-made, the one which are made in laboratories, the synthetic types, the so-called pesticides, aspartame, sucralose, saccharin and so on. Now these kind of foods called inflammation in our gut lining. These are extremely harmful for our gut health. Now they are commonly present in diet sodas, sugar-free foods, sugar-free desserts, artificially flavored yogurts, even your sugar-free candies and gums. Even chewing gum, which is made out of normal sugar, contains artificial sweeteners in them. The reason being, if a chewing gum is made with just sugar, after taking 1 to 2 bites, the sugar taste goes and then we need to spit out the gum. But if you are putting artificial sweeteners in them, the taste lingers on for a very long time. So that's why manufacturers are using artificial sweeteners nowadays in most of the candies and chewing gums. Please avoid all artificial sweeteners. The next is dairy products. We've always heard that milk is really good. Well, it's really good for the cows, but not for humans. Cows are being injected with hormones, with antibiotics, so as to increase the production of milk. This has been causing hormone imbalances in humans. The milk has been treated with a lot of chemicals. They are pasteurized. So these are processed forms of milk. When a child is born, they contain an enzyme called lactase, which helps them to digest mother's milk. But eventually when the child grows, this enzyme slowly gets diminished. So they are not able to digest lactose anymore. This is the leading cause of lactose intolerance in humans. So please avoid milk. Now what can you have? You can have cheese, you can have yogurt and sour cream. These are fermented foods. Because of addition of good bacteria, they become gut friendly. During fermentation process, the lactose content of such foods go down. So they are more tolerated by people who are even lactose intolerant. They can consume them in moderation. The other food is breakfast cereals. Now I'm not only talking about sugary breakfast cereals available. I'm also talking about the so-called healthy cereals which are made out of whole grains. They contain sugar. They are containing genetically modified wheat. Now if you're feeding your kids such kind of cereals, you better feed them donuts. I'm not saying you should feed them donuts. I'm just saying they both are equally bad. Even instant oats, they are not good breakfast items. The glycemic index of instant oats is 83. Now what is glycemic index? It's the carbohydrate content in food that raises blood sugar levels. So I'm not a big fan of instant oats. If you ask me some better breakfast options, I could suggest eggs, avocado on a sourdough, lentil pancakes, chia seed puddings which are made in yogurt with some nuts and fruit. These are much healthier options. But if you do wish to have oats, steel cut oats are much better options. They have 53 glycemic index. The other food is processed food. Now I'm not talking about the regular processed foods which you are aware are not good for you. I'm talking about the healthy processed foods. The so-called healthy cookies which are made out of whole grains, oats, millets and so on. The air-fried healthy snacks, popcorns, even your tinned baked beans, condiments, sauces, all these are very bad for health. They have high amount of sugar, salt, oil, the inflammatory vegetable oils, MSG, preservatives, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners and colors. These foods are extremely bad for our health. Now if you want to snack smartly, you can take corn kernels, get them at home and pop them in little bit of olive oil. You can roast fox nuts in olive oil. You can have roasted chickpeas. Try to have these healthy snacks at home. And the last point, which sums up all those points I've stated above, is fast food. Junk food, the zero nutrition value foods. Now they contain everything which I've mentioned. Inflammatory vegetable oils, refined flour, excess amount of sugar, salt, preservatives. Now I'm not only talking about the regular well-known fast food chain. I'm also talking about the food you order at restaurants. Just be mindful of what you're ordering. Order healthier options like grill good quality proteins with some salads on the side. Salads which are made in olive oil. Stir fry vegetables with rice. Even your coconut based curries, which are commonly found in Thai food, they are extremely good for you. So make wise decisions when you're picking up foods in restaurants. So we've always heard about the blue zones in the world. There are 5 blue zones in our world that have higher percentage of people living up to 100 years. Now what are the reasons behind this? First, active. These people are very active in nature. Not that they're going to the gym, but they walk around, they're hiking, they're cycling, they're doing household work. So they're generally very active people. Second, there's a Japanese word known as ikigai, which means purpose. They have a purpose in life. When they wake up in the morning, they know what they have to do. So this is a very big reason for living a long life. Third, downshift. These people know how to balance between work and leisure. They work very hard till 5-6 o'clock in the evening, but when they are coming back home, they leave the work behind. They indulge in some kind of hobbies. They like to spend time with their family. The other point, eat in moderation. These people eat everything in moderation and avoid overeating of anything. The next point, plant-based foods. Now I'm not saying they are vegetarians or vegans. They do have good quality grass-fed chicken, meat and eggs, but mostly their diet contains a lot of vegetables. They drink wine occasionally, 1 to 2 glasses a week. Now we know that wine contains an antioxidant called resveratrol, which is heart-friendly. These people have faith in some kind of religion or a community. These people are living with family. They are living with their parents. They are living with their grandparents. They have some kind of a social network. And last, they have good genes. We've always heard about lifespan. Now there is something which is also known as health span. Now what's the difference between these two words? I'll explain it with a small example. Suppose somebody has a metabolic problem like type 2 diabetes or liver diseases. Now such people shorten their life by 10 years. A lot of money is spent on medicines, on hospital visits, medical bills. They have a lot of health problems. Like if they're obese, they'll be having joint problems, leading to mobility issues. Some of them have vision problems, kidney problems, neuropathical problems, brain fog, lethargy, and a lot of other restrictions. So basically, this is a poor quality of life. Now modern medicine is increasing the lifespan of such people, but their quality of life is getting deteriorated day by day. So are they living longer or are they just dying longer? So that's just a point to think about. I hope the above points were useful. If you keep them in mind and exercise regularly, I'm sure you will increase your lifespan by 20 to 30 years. This is Menka Vijan signing off. Thank you.